let's start with an open question. What's the story of this record?
Story of the record is that after a long, involved, torturous argument with my French manager, I accepted a producer. I'd been producing all my own stuff. They make me smile. This was recorded in Brussels, and he put together a band for me that he wanted to work with for the arrangements that he wanted to do. And so it's a totally live recording, which already takes it into another dimension, because most of the stuff that I did previously, I'd done all the guitar parts. I had a bass player, but it's with sequence drums. So on this album, I decided not to go for a theme or go for a kind of a sound. I was just going to write songs, and however disparate they were, I was going to put them on because that's what I was feeling about that at this time. And so it's a kind of a historical record of my ideas in 2009 and things that were occupying me. So I have songs which are like straight up rock songs. I have songs which are straight up old-fashioned folk guitar ballads. I have songs which are a really revolutionary crossover between mbira and rock and hard rock, flowing into each other, trying to find a way in which the two can flow in and out of one another, like in the song Nyembezi. That for me was one of the most radical mixes that I've managed to get to happen on the album. And then also just...
Let's just actually talk about that song a second, because I was struck by that. It starts out in this very gentle, Mbira-like mode, and then has a wailing rock guitar solo in it.
Yeah. So for me, I was trying to, as a crossover artist, when you're dealing with really well-developed indigenous genres of music, it's very hard to go from sort of cyclical, linear, cyclical.
Because it's too sudden, the transition? Or
yeah,
because they rub against each other?
And at times I think, well, maybe it's an arrangement thing. Maybe it's not a structural thing. Maybe I didn't set it up properly. I didn't get the chord sequence right. I could have maybe done a key change to take your attention away from the fact that it's moving into another thing. All of those tricks that a songwriter uses to make things feel as if they deserve each other and that they belong together. And so that aspect of crossover writing is always at the back of my mind, and I really get excited when I get in my little tool bag a few tricks to make them work better. All the happiest music comes out of the saddest places, because music there is a humanizing force. We used to play in the townships in South Africa in the 70s and 80s, and Mbaqanga music is it's all in a major mode, and you get up there and you just have a fantastic time, and for 2 hours you are humanized in a bigger dehumanizing context. But in that little hall that you're sitting in and you're watching, you get back in touch with your humanity in a very, very powerful way. It's also a very, very strong platform for the life force to suddenly be allowed to breathe. But I've been around 35 years. I've never seen anything as stark, you know, is what's going on now. And so you've got people like Hashili Mhlope, who is mixing Maskanda now with hip hop, which, you know, there's this whole debate in anthropology. If something traditional dies out, it didn't make it, and there's a new form that takes over, and you just got to accept it. So part of this traditional style of Zulu guitar playing is gone. It's on record, but nobody plays it anymore because it's perceived to be backward, tribal, not modern. And you've got all of these other kinds of values coming in, because South Africa, people want to be seen to be sophisticated, modern, you know, Christian, having a broad sort of palette of international music that they can appreciate, and talk about jazz and talk about hip hop and all that kind of stuff. And so it's a pressure. Yeah, you ghettoized on the radio, and this is a real problem. And what they do now is they'll say, okay, we've got to put out 20% or 30% local, you know, today, and they play at 3 in the morning. That's it. They've done it. They've met the regulations. Nobody's listening to it, and you know, all the key, the drive time, all the you never hear it.
So it's worse, the radio now.
Radio is tough now. Yeah, radio is tough.
And local content might just be local hip hop, right? I mean,
yeah, we've got local hip hop, local rap, local dance, local house. So the actual indigenous, traditional, tribal forms, you will very rarely seldom see.
Ipuluwela me Baletata Ipuluwela me makumete Ipuluwela me Holy Ipuluwela me makumete